Hello, in the next example, we're going to understand how NextBrain works and how machine learning works. And I'm going to select a workspace and I'm going to upload a new data set. This data set is called investment opportunities. I'm going to upload it in real time. So with this, I'm going to put here some information, for example, this one. This information is explaining exactly what has this data set. This data set has these columns: the company, industry, and revenue, employees, and invest. All these columns are generated randomly. This dataset is generated by your team of NextBrain. In these columns, we have different formulas to generate it. So we have a company age with some values, different values from 0 to 100. We have industry with random categorical values with 6 random different values. All of them are accounting, agriculture, automotive, banking, defense, or software. And the annual revenue that is a random value between 0 and 2 millions, I think, or 3 millions, something like that. This value here. And with this, we have also the number of employees of the company with random values between 0 and 400. And the investment column, which is our target in this case, because this is what we want to predict. This case is simulating if we sold invest or not in a company based on the features of this company. These features are, as you can see, the company age, industry, and revenue, and employees. The formula to get a good investment. This is just a dummy formula that we created, but the machine learning model doesn't know. It will need to discover it. And also NextBrain doesn't know is that if the industry is software or defense and the annual revenue is greater than $1 million, the system is going to generate here a yes, and if not, it's going to generate here a no. This is really interesting because we know exactly when the model is doing well or not, because this formula is obfuscated on this data for the model, and it will need to discover it. With this, we are going to firstly select our target invest, and we can ignore the columns company, age, and employees because we know that they are not relevant for this model. But we are not going to do so because we want the system to automatically get these insights for itself without our help. We can train more than 1 minute, but because it is a simpler model, we don't need to do so. We can do more things, but we are not going to do so. We are going with the most easy case. So let's train it, and it is going to train for more or less 1 minute, so let's wait. Okay, so now that the model is trained, we have here an accuracy of 100 because it's a simpler model, and we have some suggestions to improve our model accuracy. In this case, we can't improve our model accuracy, but the idea here is that it is going to help us to get a better accuracy. What it's saying is that the company aides and employees doesn't have much influence on the model, and that's exactly what we know before, because we know that our investment generated strategically wasn't used in these columns, both columns, company aides and employees, so the system automatically detects it. How does the system do it? To do so, it basically changes these values and detect how changing this affects to get a better result. I mean, an investment or not, to predict a better result, and it detects that changing these values doesn't help to get a better result. Also, the column importance, which is the most important chart right now, to get an insight of how the model was working and how it's helping us to predict. The system here said that we have only 2 important columns, industry and revenue, with similar values of importance, and here we can know that. We have the column to predict which is invest, and we have when we invested is yes. We have a positive influence when the industry is banking or the industry is software, and we're getting a negative impact when the industry is banking a software to get the target of no. The investment no, and a positive impact when agriculture, accounting, automotive, or defense is one of the industries. With this, if we change to annual revenue, we can get more or less the same information, but with a numerical column, which is our annual revenue. And here we can see that we have a positive influence to get a no when the annual revenue is less than 1 million, exactly what we write on our formula. And we are getting a negative impact to get a no when we have an annual revenue greater than 1 million. If we change it to yes, we're getting more or less the same, but in reverse. In this case, we are getting almost no impact or 0 impact to get an annual revenue. To get a yes on investment when the annual revenue is less than 1 million, and we are getting a really high impact when annual revenue is greater than 1 million to get a yes on the investment. With this, we can also get information on the visual explainability section. In this case, it is helping us to know how the model is getting the results. In this case, you can see that the system is automatically detecting if it's splitting the data using the industry. In this case, if the industry is equals to software. If it is that case, it's just checking if the annual revenue is more or less greater than 1 million. Remember that it is creating and adjusting everything based on the data that we provide, so it doesn't know exactly that the formula says that 1 million. If it is greater than 1 million, it is predicting yes. If it is not, it is predicting no. With this, if it is not a software, the industry is not software. It is checking the same for the industry banking. If it is no, predict no. If it is yes, predict yes with an annual revenue greater than 1 million. And this is basically everything. With this, we have everything we need to know about the model, and that's basically all.